Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Chaffee here. SSStormchasing.com, meteorologistjoechaffee.com, weatherlongisland.com, and soon to be nycweathernow.com. That'll be up in the coming weeks. Okay, so if you like below normal temperatures, I want to take you through this map which shows the GFS temperatures with respect to normal. Okay, and the scale is on the side here, so you get into these darker reds and purples, and start talking about temperatures running 7 or more degrees above normal, and then you get into the blues, and we're talking about temperatures running 7 or more degrees. Blues and the purple, 7 or more degrees below normal, and that, by the way, is in degrees Celsius. So multiply it by 2 for Fahrenheit. So we're looking at above normal temperatures here for the most part as we go into Wednesday afternoon, running about 10 or 15 degrees Fahrenheit above normal, still above normal on Thursday, and still above normal on Friday. But after Friday, looks like this next cold front's coming through faster and moving through here Friday evening, and that's going to bring down this shot of nice cool air for the weekend. This is a really good shot of cool air that's coming down, especially for New England, where I think some spots are going to see some frost out of this, and some maybe even some freezes in the northern areas. But for us, by Sunday morning, we're seeing temperatures running actually 7 to 10 degrees Celsius below normal. So that would be, let's see, conservatively, let's say 10 to 15 degrees below normal. We're talking temperatures at night possibly in the 40s everywhere. And let's even look at those actual temperatures. So let's go to the 2-meter air temperature, which will show it pretty well. And look at this. Now this is Friday, okay? So this is Thursday, so we're still in the 80s. Here's Friday with temperatures in the middle to upper 80s. And then by Saturday morning, we're down in the 50s. And there's 40s and 30s up to the north. Not much above. I think Saturday we could see temperatures maybe making it back up to about low 70s, but that might be pushing it depending on the timing of this cool air mass. It may not even get out of the 60s on Saturday. And then look at Sunday morning, Saturday night to Sunday morning. I mean, we've got pockets of 32 or below throughout much of upstate New York, down and through interior New England. So this is a cool shot of air, and basically not out of the the 60s on Sunday. Another very cool night and cold night with some frost and freezes in upstate New York and New England Sunday night into Monday morning, and then back up through the 60s. Probably get back up above 70 on Monday. But sometimes these cool air masses take their sweet time in getting things done. Okay, so let's jump from here and just go to the tropics, because it really isn't too much happening that's going to concern us. We've got Tropical Storm Karl right here, and it still remains a pretty poorly defined tropical storm. And we have Tropical Depression 13, which is likely to become a tropical storm later today based on what we see on the satellite look. And I'm just going to show you, Karl's gotten a little more symmetrical as opposed to being elliptical. And the center of circulation is right here, but a lot of the western and southern side of the circulation still remain exposed. And Karl, being that it is weak, remember a few days ago we said that as long as it stays weak, it would probably track further west. But I think in the end, it's ultimately going to recurve, and I think it may get very close to Bermuda because of what's setting up in the upper layers of the atmosphere. And this system, which becomes a tropical storm probably later today, assuming it continues on its slow organization trend, is eventually going to get caught up in the trough that Karl leaves behind and get drawn northwest and northward. And ultimately, Karl will wind up absorbing this in about 4 or 5 days. I mean, that seems to be how this is all going to play out. And we'll just jump real quick, and I'm going to show you the upper air maps for how this all plays out. And we're going to switch to, I'm going to use the North America region this time around because I think that's a little bit better. We'll get to see everything in action. And there we go. So let's put this upper air. So let's shift this over just a little bit. And I'll move my pretty little face down in the bottom corner. Okay. So here we have our upper air map. I'm going to just back it up to the beginning, and you can just kind of follow it along. You know, jet winds blowing from west to east. And you can watch what happens in eastern Canada as that trough just really deepens here over big upper air storm over Labrador. So look at the flow that comes down from northern Greenland through eastern Canada and then right into the northeast. So that's the source of our cool air, and it takes a little bit of time for that trough to lift out. Now, ridge comes in its place for the middle of next week. Now, this is where the models kind of differ because the European has a second shot in here that comes along for the middle part of next week, kind of reinforces this particular shot, whereas the GFS is now kind of sort of backed away from this. Instead, it focuses its attention on a trough that it forms in the middle of the country. So I'm going to have to rectify this to see whether this is correct or not. Eventually, another trough does form into the east. It's not quite as deep as the one that we have for this coming weekend, but it's still there. So we kind of have troughs on both coasts and ridge in the middle, and a general west-northwest flow from northwest Canada down into the northeast in the longer term. So I think what this basically says is that we're going to start seeing, cool air, progressively cooler air masses coming down from the northwest. The European seems to be a little bit more of a colder look than the GFS is down the roads. But you know what? That's the long range, and we'll figure it out. Okay, so have a great day. We've got no rain in the forecast right through the weekend and into early next week. Don't forget ssstormchasing.com, meteorologist joechaffee.com, and weatherlongisland.com.